Okay, um, so basically I am solving for 13 scenarios. This column right here, and I apologize, I'm taping this from my camera. Column B is actually calculating for these columns, which is about 13 scenarios if you put them all together. So basically what I'm trying to do, this is a W2 log, by the way. I work with the payroll team, and here's the basically, if the qualifier is this, when we send the W2 to KPMG and you put a date, 2/15, the status should then say final, assuming there's no issue though. And if there is, for example, we have a payroll pull, meaning there's an issue with the W2, and if they put or if we put a date, and hit enter, that should say pending. Pending meaning there's an issue with the W2, we can't process it yet, so the final status should say pending. And if there's a resolution for that, we put a text, I'll just put in test, and it should hit enter, and it should say final because there's a resolution. Now it's besides the payroll pool, there is tax pool, and there's compensation query and resolution, second compensation query, resolution, up to third compensation query and resolution. Now, what I have here now is a final status, or as a status column that is actually reading the second column that is calculating for the columns from C all the way to Q. Oh, sorry. So what I have here in this column, column A, is basically let me see. This column, there's in the final status column, there's 4 things that can happen. Instead of final, pending, no W2, I've programmed it that if you put no W2 here, no W2, this then would say no W2, meaning our database did not create a W2, and so we cannot proceed. This calculates, again, column A calculates for column B, and I've created an if error here, that if this comes to an error, this is an error value, and in my formula here, if it's error, give me no W2, so that's what it gives me. I've actually set it up to highlight automatically when it says W2. And also, so of course, let me explain what pending means. Pending is if say this is just blank, as you see here, there's no entries here, so it's, of course, it's pending. There's no entry yet. So then if we send, or or if we have an addition to the logbook, we can put in a date here. Let's say 2/15, and then Chi is basically the employee ID, and let's just say we put ABCD, and of course the status should still remain pending. However, if the W-2 is sent to KPMG, it should say final, as you can see here. It says final now. And if there's an issue, if there's a payroll pool, you put in a date, and there you go. It goes back to pending. And if you resolve it, it goes back to final. And same thing can happen if there's no tax pool, that's fine. But if there's a comp query, as you can see there, you put a date. Oh, I put it in the wrong. So if you put this up here, oh, that's not gonna work. If you put the date there in comp query, as you can see, this went back to pending. And if I put a solution, any text would work. Solution test, I'll put a test. And there you go, went back to final. And that works up until here, the third comp query. You put a date, goes back to pending, and then you put a resolution. I'll just put a test. And once again, it goes back to final. So, that's what I have. It works. My clients, actually, they like it. It serves what it needs to, it does what it needs to do. It's actually very accurate. The issue before, the reason why we automate this is that before I came on board with the team, this was all actually manual entries. They all had to be entered manually. The status column had to be entered manually, and so of course there's a lot of opening for errors. And by the end of the year, or when the tax when it was close to when the tax season was almost over, KPMG were finding a lot of statuses that was incorrect. Some finals were seeing pending, a lot of pending were actually final. So, and if you have 4,000 employees listed on this W-2 logbook, and if your status column is not accurate, that can cause a lot of unnecessary work. So this certainly works. This fully automated status column, this certainly works. And I thank you for all the ones that commented on LinkedIn, especially for Peter and Andrew. Thank you so much for putting in the input. It really helped me a great deal to come up with what I have today. I will post exactly the codes that I have for column A and column B, just to give you an idea as to exactly what formula I have and exactly what's within the formula that made this happen. Thank you very much, and I hope you guys have a good night. I'll see you in the discussions in LinkedIn. Thank you. Bye-bye.